hopefully that's what's coming across. And my YouTube stream information is not updated yet. Refresh that page. Still says I haven't begun streaming. Huh. I don't know. Kind of waiting for this to tell me it's online. Oh, now I got a 504 error. Nice. So I think I'm pushing content up, but maybe there's just a delay between that and I wanted to check all my lights, make sure I haven't messed up the lights. Oh yeah, we bought that tractor to do a little planting. So I think the volume is, the microphone's working. On my end it shows that it is picking up audio, so trying to arrange my screens here. There we go. Whoa, get out of the ditch. So if you didn't, well yeah, I guess you didn't hear my explanation of the earlier stream, was that reason I started over a fresh game was I was wanting to test the encoding software, because it seemed like it was just, the frames per second was getting worse and worse and worse the longer I played. The longer I played County Line, I think it was just having to process so much with the chop straw and all those combines that the encoding software was really struggling, and it was knocking my frames. So thought I'd start a fresh map, and then I could get a good idea as to whether it was the mod or if it was the game itself, or the encoding software, or the map, or what have you. So even with the in-game tractors, I'm still pulling 30 frames a second with this modded tractor, so I think we're okay with this one. And if you watched that earlier stream that was a bust, I had the 8320 RT, and there was something sticking out the back of the tractor. I went in to Giant's Editor, and I remember making something it was an object I made visible the last time I was in there, and that must have been what it was, because I just went in and made it invisible, and it's fine. So this is the 9520. It started life as a 9420, and then I took the front end, took the grill, the hood, took them into blender, separated them out, gave some new textures to the headlights, to the lights on the cab, put some textured lights on the corners. I put them at an angle just so that from a distance it looked like it was on the corner. They're supposed to be like a rounded, curved lamp, but I just thought, well, that'll work. So anyway, this tractor has a whole bunch of wheel configurations. There was a 9000 series that was released this week by Brantford Egg, and I haven't downloaded it yet, so I don't know. I was working on mine at the same time he was working on his. I didn't know he was working on one, so that's kind of a waste. Just a little 6R. Boy, there were some bright lights. Michigan Farm Power says, I would like a lot of your 17 mods, but if I asked it would be a long list. Ha. A lot of my mods are already up on American Eagle Modding. I put most of my stuff up there. It's AmericanEaglesModding.com. Some of my stuff ends up on ModHub, Modland. There's a few people that go out and just they just watch what gets uploaded to American Eagles, and then they download it and then take it over to ModHub. So if you're interested in any of the mods that I put up, just either go to those two sites. Another one is American Style Modding, FASMC.com, or search for American Style Modding. A lot of my mods end up over there. Stuff that I worked on, stuff that I built. My grapple hook is over there, John Deere grapple hook. The livestock trailer, Wilson Ranch Hand livestock trailers over there. And if it's something that I haven't uploaded, if it's just an edit, you know, I sometimes will put links in my videos, and those links should still be good. I don't think I've deleted any of them. So if you go through my video list and open up the description, there may or may not be links, and then look in the comments too. Sometimes people ask for a link in the comment, and I'll put a link up. Just, you know, I don't other than there's like 3 models that I built 100% myself, and then the rest are just conversions and edits. So just be aware of that I don't take any credit for most of the mods I work on. The Wilson Ranch Hand livestock trailer I built myself. The John Deere grapple bucket is 100% mine. As far as the model goes, I enlisted the help of a friend to finish it in 15, and then I converted it by myself to 17. And the hydrobed, I made a hydrobed for a Ford 1-ton pickup. I still have all of my Farm Sim 15 mods, so if you see some of my videos are from 15, if you want a 15 mod that you can't find or is no longer available, just let me know. I still have them all. It's just I don't put them all up on the Dropbox because my Dropbox would be like, geez, 25 gigabytes. So let's jump over into where'd the other tractor go? There it is. So yeah, that weird thing that was sticking out of the back is gone now. So yeah, FSAMC. Yep, that's the website. I can never remember the abbreviation for their website. I don't know. Is there a truck out there?
Yeah, in our yard.
Oh, maybe it's Ken's. It might be Ken's. Hopefully he disconnected the battery tender. My daughter just came to tell me that there was a pickup parked in the yard, but a friend of mine was going to come borrow my dump truck today, so hopefully he unhooked the battery tender. Dragging that around behind him, dragging the extension cord, I suppose. Yeah, I was just doing some more mod testing on this 8320 RT. I had worked on the 3-point XML. It's a little bit off. I gotta change a few things, but it's pretty close. I mean, it hooks up and it moves. Whoa! Let me get that fence. The guardrail.
Are you doing a live stream?
Yeah. Yes, I am. For those of you who haven't seen this before, it's 8320 RT. If you haven't seen this one before, it was in 15. Let's see, I did the lighted monitors. If you saw this in 15, you'll notice the back end is totally different. It's got a new axle, it's got new 3-point attachers with bottom arm links. I borrowed the models for the 3-point from 8530 John Deere that was released a while ago. I thought they were pretty good looking models. It's got a see-through screen on the grill. It's got the light beams. Other than that, that's about it. And it's pretty simple to convert a model from 15 to 17. I mean, Giant's editor, the GE program will pretty much do 90% of the work. You just got to go in and change a few things after it gets done converting it with the new shaders, and it does the bulk of the work for you. So let's see how this thing handles it out in the field. You probably wouldn't use an 8320 for plowing, but I guess what the hell difference does it make? I would think you would want to use this tractor for mostly planting. chugs right along. GPS does work. Some models, if you don't have the XML scripted right, GPS will not work. Course play works. Once again, if you script it wrong, course play will not work. Just a few lines is all you need in the XML. Has to do with the steering. Oh, that was another thing I had. Let me unhook this real quick. I had adjusted the steering angles to make this thing turn on a dime. Yeah, it seems like it's turning pretty tight. Ham68 says, that a boy getting that shit figured out. Thanks. And so what happened the other day with the stream while we were chatting it up? Oh, the power went out. Substation south of town. I guess it was a step down transformer failed, and yeah, we were without power for like, oh shit, better than an hour. Transmission group went out and changed the transformer and got it up and running. And Michigan Farmer says that 8320 needs a lot of work to be realistic, but looks good. Oh, thanks. Ham's asking for a Dropbox link. I got a couple more 3-point things to work on, and then if you notice, the fuel tanks don't have a bottom, and the cab is sitting kind of high. I got to lower all that stuff. The engine, you know, it is what it is. It's a lot more detailed now than it was when I started. I guess I still don't have the original one in my mods folder anymore. I'd have to reload it and do a side-by-side comparison between that one and this one. But, as far as the rear end goes, this is a totally different rear end. I don't know if you ever saw the 15 model. The stairs need a little work. Should actually take those in the blender and work on them a little bit. But for a farm sim model, it's getting better. Trying to keep up with the chat stream too. Michigan Farm Power says that's how it's supposed to be turning wise. Yeah, I was doing a lot of different experimenting with getting it to steer more like a actual crawler. And Ham says, haha, you were talking to a lineman and the power went out. Yeah, not only that, but I was talking shit about Al Gore. Yeah, I guess from what I'm seeing on the chat is quite a ways behind what you guys are seeing, so sorry for the delay. But for me to get 30 frames a second, I think it actually needs that delay time. But the encoding software just taxes my computer quite a bit. But it's doing better than it was the other day. And this thing does get dirty, it just takes a while. I guess now with 17 you can, well, there is a game extension I use that you can adjust the dirty level of your tractor. So you go Control D. So the tracks are starting to get dirty. There we go, that's pretty good. There. Oh, yeah, the tanks are getting dirty. I think I got sidetracked when I was talking earlier. The bottoms of the tanks, you know, it needs to be finished. That thought was rattling around in my brain, and I don't remember if I explained that. And that quick coupler, I don't know why it's not getting dirty. I thought it had a specular, but evidently it doesn't. But yeah, that quick coupler should be at the end of that hydraulic cylinder, and so I need to change that. Do I play multi on a server? You know, I've only done that a couple times, and at the current time I don't do that. The Michigan Farm Powers, because my farm owns a 8310 RT. Cool. Even if it's in neutral, if you turn the wheel all the way around, you will do 360s. Oh, right on. Yeah, I was gonna, I didn't know how far I could push the XML with getting it. I didn't want to like, when you go to turn, if it would just like flip the tractor over. But I got a little more room to make adjustments, so it could probably even turn a little sharper than what I have it set up as. And maybe I will do that. I know, like the skid steers and stuff, it's cool to have a skid steer, but they really don't they really don't operate 100% like a skid steer, you know, as far as in game. But I guess it is what it is. I mean, if you ever played Farm Sim 2009, 2011, you know, over the years they have made vast improvements on the so-called physics of the game. I know they kind of took a step back when they went from Farm Sim 15 to 17 when it comes to the mods, because they had to make everything console friendly. and for it to work on PlayStation 4, Xbox, and for them to be able to download mods, they really kind of hamstringed the modding for PCs a little bit. I mean, Lua's had to be rewritten, and the entire, the language of the XML scripting changed. So there was a lot of relearning. And you probably shouldn't turn with your plow in the ground. Yeah, there was in my opinion, there was improvements, but yet there was this huge learning curve that you had to overcome. And I'm still learning what 17 can do. There was a lot of stuff in 15 that I had gotten so used to the way you did it. Shoot, I could practically do it in my sleep. And then now it's like, oh, I gotta really concentrate on what I'm doing so I don't revert back to 15 scripting and stuff, because it won't work. You can't put lines of 15 XML in 17. It will not work. It has to be in the right language, I guess, if you call it that. So I got a question for Michigan Farm Power. You say you have an 8310 RT. On the side where that like I-beam comes through, I mean, do they basically take an 8000 series tractor, and do they just take like the front end off and then put the track system underneath? Is that basically what that tractor is? Because I've been looking at the model and looking at pictures on Tractor House, and it's like, is that what they did? Is just like take the front end off? Because the rear end looks just like, like a normal tractor's rear end, without just the front end's gone. I mean, is that basically what they do, is my question. And then, if anybody has got an implement dealer close to them, I am building a Haybuster H1130, and I can show that model to you guys later. But I'm looking for pictures of the warning decals. I'm at the point now where I'm going to start doing texturing and putting decals on the tub grinder. It's a H1130 tub grinder made by Haybuster, and I can only find just a few decals that are like pictures of decals that are up close. And I contacted Haybuster up in North Dakota, and they said that they would send me pictures of the warning decals, but they've never gotten back to me. They've never sent them to me. But what I'm looking for is if you have an implement dealer and if they sell tub grinders, I'm just looking for the warning decals. I don't know what the decals say necessarily. I'm sure it's rotating parts, seems to me like we do have a local John Deere dealer here, and they do have some Haybuster equipment, but not a tub grinder. And it seems like the warning decals are specific to the type of equipment it is. Yeah, learning Ham 68 says trying to learn since I'm new to the whole farm sim, but it's got me beating my head against the wall. It'll do that. It will do that, but sometimes you just got to take a break from it, clear your head, and go back in it. Michigan says that they do use their RT for tillage. Okay, right on. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty robust built tractor, so I don't know why you wouldn't. All the pictures I saw on online, they always were seeing it pulling some type of a planter, a 1770 or a DB, but a row crop. It's got row crop spread, so. And he must be replying to my question. Not really. Yes and no. There's a lot of modifications, but kind of. Okay, well, that's when I was looking at all the different pictures. I've never seen one like up close and personal. I'm just going off of pictures off a tractor house, and trying to set the model up as close as possible. And then you start to wonder, is that what they did? And I didn't know. I was just curious. Thanks for responding. And Michigan says, like where the axles are on the R's, there is weights. There is 2 beams going to the tracks. Oh, okay. Yeah, and that's what we got right there. Is, if you can see, there's a. I listed it as mid-frame weights, but yeah, let me clean it up. So there's the weights on the side of the tractor, and then there's that beam that's kind of directly below the front of the cab. I didn't know. Yeah, I'm probably missing a beam. I don't know, maybe back here somewhere behind the rear wheel, I suppose. But yeah. Yeah, I'll have to look at more pictures. I will look at the 8310. I was just looking at that's the thing, is you go on Tractor House and you plug in a model number and that's all it pulls up. I'll just look at all the 83 series and use a search term of RT or something and see what else comes up, because I'm sure that I don't know how many models, different models they make of this design. Looking forward to some of your upcoming tutorials. There, right on. Oh, you guys have a DB66 planter? That's cool. Oh, you do use it in, on a grain cart. Okay. And it's a pretty good looking tractor. You know, overall, the pictures I saw on Tractor House was like, that's a pretty good looking tractor. It's got that same hood design as, you know, the 8R series. I'm just dinking around, so I'm plowing, but I don't know if I really need to be. I could probably just bring that planter out here and plant it with that little 6R. Yeah, I think on my next tutorial video, like I was saying the other day, with the backlit screens, I can show you how you do that. It does not take long at all. Oh, the drive axle is second beam. Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that. Yeah, I apologize for the delay in what you guys are seeing and what I see in the chat. It's just it seems the encoding software, it needs that buffer time. When I was doing it real time, it was just eating my lunch as far as frames per second. My computer just couldn't do it instantaneously, but if it's got a buffer time, it seems like it flows pretty good. And Ham says, how do you edit wheels on some of these tractors when you go into editor and they're not on the tractor? They are dynamically loaded. And what I mean by dynamically loaded is either they're using the in-game wheels and then they just have a node address on the model, or they have a separate folder inside the mod, and inside that folder will be a wheel. The 9520 that I have parked over there is set up that same way. If you pull that tractor up, there are no wheels in the main model. It's just wheel node addresses located, and that's how you can get multiple different wheel variations, configurations. Is your only concern is the placement. So an empty transform group is just a location in the 3D world, and then it goes out and say your wheel configuration has 5 different types of wheels: single, dual, triple, with weights, without weights. And then if you're using the in-game like Trelleborg wheels, then you just need to have a file name path in your XML under that wheel configuration to tell it where to go and get that 3D model of that wheel, and then it places it. I can do a tutorial on that as well. The tracks are a little bit different story. Now in the in-game, you know, you have your crawler tracks, and they're under a file that are called Lizard. Now, the Lizard tracks they use for like your case, your big case quad track, and like the New Holland 1090 combine has got those crawlers. And so when you pull up that combine, there's no crawlers, there's no wheels. But now this one, because this is a modified track, if you open this model up in Giants Editor, the tracks are there. There's a lot of things you can do with the configuration portion of Giants Editor. You can change decals. You can change, well, like on that 9520, the fertilizer tanks in the front. Those are selectable through the wheel configuration or the design configuration at the store, so you can have it with or without tanks, and then a whole slug of wheel options. You know, anything that you can, anything that's a separate object. Michigan, I'll be back, maybe not. If you ever need to contact me, email Michigan Power. Oh, thanks. All right, cool. If you ever run again, if you ever see a Haybuster H1130, let me know. I'll put my email in the description of this video. Just plowing. I have to I work night shift tonight, so the dreaded night shift. But you know, anymore I think I prefer night shift because you don't have to deal with the day shift people. I know that sounds bad, but it's like, in my line of work, it's like I don't have to deal with the day shift people. I'd work straight nights all the time. It's just during the summertime, I don't know, it's awful hard when it's nice out to come home and then go to bed when it's, you know, beautiful weather out, and it's like, oh, I gotta get some sleep. Well, this mod has turned out not too bad. Like I say, I still got to work on the 3-point. There's a few other things I'd like to change, but yeah, if you drop me a link to your email address, if you're interested in doing some testing, just let me know. Did I say in the description? Drop your email in the comments. Sorry, my brain was somewhere else. Ham says, oh so confusing for someone that ain't too computer savvy. I'm trying to figure this out. It just takes time, and it's like anything. You'll fail 9 times before you get it right once. You know, I couldn't tell you how many models I started in Blender and have never seen the light of day because they just were just. It's like when I was building my grapple buckets, my John Deere grapple bucket. I probably have a dozen failures of models that are just like it's going the wrong direction, and I'm starting over. I don't know if you've never seen my John Deere grapple bucket. Let's see, front loader. Where's the front loader? Did I pass it? Oh, right there in the corner. Right here. This is my John Deere grapple bucket. It's a BW 15904 grapple, and you know that took. This was one of my first scratch built model in Blender, and yeah, it whooped my butt for quite a while, but now it works. Ham says, I'm trying to convert the John Deere 7180 chopper right now, and it's kicking my ass. Well, if you ever need any help, I don't know if you're involved in any of the modding Facebook groups, but there's some good ones out there. There's some that I have actually like left because you run into people that have just got this elitist attitude, and I can't stand rude people. So I just showed myself the door. It's like if you guys are gonna treat people with such disrespect, and you know, people have legitimate questions about modding, it's like, well, then why do you have a mod Facebook group if you're not willing to help? If you're just gonna bash them, bash their work, and bash their level of what they have learned, then you know what, you guys can do it by yourselves. I'm not going to be involved. And so, but there are some they're modding Facebook groups where there are some decent guys that will help you, and they won't make fun of you, you know. And I will never make fun of somebody who's trying to learn. Yeah, sometimes working night shifts has its benefits, but it's hard to do in the summertime. Or I'm saying this while I'm sitting in the house, but I really didn't want to sleep, but I didn't want to start any projects outside. Last night I was out in the garage late. Working on my '84 Chevy dually, and the dually fenders were, you know, cracked out and damaged. So the driver's side I got done a couple weeks ago, and the passenger side I wasn't sure if it was something I was going to have to re-glass, you know, with fiberglass resin and stuff, because it was like big globs of Bondo on it. And then I got to looking, and I started sanding on it to smooth it out, because they didn't even bother smoothing it out, you know, whoever owned it before, or whoever did that repair. And it's amazing what some people think is a fix, you know. But yeah, they just like took regular Bondo for metal, and they just globbed it on there. So it's like, well, that'll never last. So that's all got to come off. It's got to be all ground off and taken down to raw fiberglass, and then with the resin and glass sheeting, I'll fix it to where it will be a good solid fender. My ultimate goal with that truck is to make a a good reliable fifth wheel camper puller for summertime. It's got a 6.2 liter diesel. It's a crew cab, 2-wheel drive. I like to give it a little bit of a lowering kit, some nice rims and tires. I don't know what I'm gonna ultimately do with the engine. I mean, the 6.2 does okay, and the truck does not have that many miles on it, so that's, when I saw it, it was at an auction, and you wouldn't believe what I paid for it, and no, it's not for sale. But it's got really low miles. It's like under 50,000 miles. But it sat out in the weather, and the dually fenders were damaged. Other than that, it's got the original windshield in it. The truck was sold originally in California, and it still has like the California compliance emission stickers in the window. And it has the crew cab camper special, because there's like the little symbol behind the cab with the little teepee. It's like a little teepee symbol. So it's a camper special. I think they had it set up to where they put a slide-in camper in the back, is because there's some like mounting bars at the front of the box, and oh, Ham says, yeah, I used the shit out of that bucket. Good work. Yep, that was mine. I don't do Facebook. I agree on those sites. The only people I'll follow is you, Random Sparks, Joe Lindbergh. Yeah, those guys do good work, and sometimes they Joe has matured a lot the last like year or so, and so sometimes he would get a little snotty in the comments section, but you know, sometimes people would just it bugged the shit out of him. I mean, I've got nothing against Joe Lindbergh, but boy, there's an element in the farm sim community that just despise him. But it's just because they're jealous. You know, he has something that they don't. That's what it comes down to. He does good work. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes the Facebook groups, they probably do more damage than good, because it's such a two-dimensional form of communication, and people get that keyboard courage, you know, and spout off and say things that normally they wouldn't say, but it's Facebook, so they just say anything they want, you know, and discourage people from trying. It had the adverse effect on me. It's like people who would talk shit, or you know, discourage you from building something. It just had the adverse effect. It's like, I'm gonna make you eat your words. I'm gonna come back with best model you ever seen, and you're gonna wish you had it. Sounds like my dump truck might be back. My buddy, he must have brought it back. I hear it, big block forward out there. Well, I think I pretty much got this field plowed. So, let's go ahead and fold it up. Take this down to the county line yard. Yeah, I don't know how anybody could live in California. I mean, with all the regulations, and man, it just amazes. It's amazing to me how many state and government regulations they impose upon people. It just boggles my mind. Okay, not that one. This one. Yeah, I've been to California several times, and well, the traffic is just nuts, and man, it's. And I forget what highway or interstate we were on. Actually, it was a highway or interstate that ran north to south, and it went from. See, we had gone down to Long Beach, and we were staying. Where the hell were we staying? We were staying close to Disney World or Disneyland, because it was like you could walk from the hotel. So we were in Anaheim, and we drove down to SeaWorld. And coming back at night after the whole SeaWorld experience, and there is just a checkpoint on the highway, and so you're cruising along there. People are passing you. I guess it's a freeway, and